Greetings, greetings, greetings. I hope everyone is doing well. Tuning in, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. I was a little bit tired of that glare that came from my dining room, so I wanted to come back to an area that try and true. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I had a productive day. I had a good day, had a real good day, and I went to LA Fitness and had a few errands and contractor came over and all is well. All is well. So let's get into it because I'm going to go in deep and first before I even get started. So Cicely Tyson was an icon. She had so many movies, so many accolades, and she was married to Miles Davis. I don't think she had any children. And yet she broke a lot of barriers. And I just want to take a moment of silence for the great work and inspiration she brought to screen and I'm sure to her life. I didn't get a chance to meet her personally, but I know she is with the angels. And so I just want her energy and her great works to be remembered as we say, so long, my good and faithful one. And so I just want to take a moment to honor the life and the legacy of Cicely Tyson. She was 96 years on the planet and made so many, inroads to do so many things. And we're all better for it and for her actions and her wisdom. Ashe. So I just wanted to start with a prayer to the great one, Cicely Tyson. May her journey be easy to the other side, into the next dimension. I'm so glad she stopped by and gave us blessings in her work. So I'm going to go into a few things. Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, and this is a copy of my book. This is a copy of my book. So let's go ahead and get into it by reading the fair use disclaimer. A copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that may otherwise be infringing. So, I was just tearing up with Cicely Tyson. I know her work was, whew. Can you imagine what she went through, what she endured, the barriers that she broke, especially as a deeply melanated woman in that time. That was, she had the victory. She absolutely had the victory. And she'll have the victory again. So, hmm, emotion coming, emotions. Okay. So thank you, Sister Tyson, for doing what she did, and she did it so well. So let's get into it, shall we? This is the weekend for us. I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple of friends that are going to make their journey to this area for a visit, and probably in a couple of weeks. And we just want to give a shout out. You know who you are. And thank you for visiting in advance. Okay. So, I was thinking about the color purple, and there was a passage in the mouth of Celie, and she did I guess, say a willfulness, and she pretty much cursed Mister because he was so horrible um, on screen, in character, obviously, and he was horrific. I mean, he did so many horrible things to Whoopi Goldberg's character, which of Celie. It's like so long ago. I think Whoopi was in her 30s, maybe. Like, wow. And yeah, she was a little person, for that time, and small in stature is what I'm saying. And I think she may have gotten an Academy. I don't know, but she had good work with that Alice Walker book, The Color Purple. And so a lot of A1 list actors and actresses, but there was a scene in The Color Purple, in the mouth of Celie, and talking to Mister. Until you do right by me, everything you touch is going to crumble. Everything that you think about, you know. And then fast forward, you see his father came up on the porch. The chickens weren't in the coop, and it was a mess. It was a hot mess. And so that ended up happening in the spirit and the power of the Black melanated woman came to pass. We don't know all of our powers yet because we've been pushed down. Society has pushed us down. You know, everything that has happened to us and through us, you know, it's horrific. Like the Mister character, horrific. He wreaked havoc. And this is the plight. This is the ancestors speaking on our behalf. And they're saying, as till you do right by my children, my great grandchildren, everything you touch, everything you think about is going to crumble. Everything you think about is going to crumble. And that's what it has been happening. What has been happening is an economy in the tank. Some people are working, some people are not. Many people are not. I'm going to say, of our people, probably 38% is not working. At least probably close to 50%. And then we have the economy is in the tank, it's in the toilet. Crime is up. Poverty is up. Everything that you can, in all areas of life, it's been upside down, turned upside down. So why is that? I mean, we know the pandemic has been horrific, and I now know people who have it, who are my mother's friend. I guess she went back this week or something, and she's like almost 90, I think. Yeah, 90 this year. And she is still positive. So, I mean, we know the pandemic has swept this country, the greatest country on the face of the earth, known to man, as they would say it. They came and get a virus under control. So why is that? So back to Celie and Mr. She's about to go with Margaret Avery's character. Trying to remember her character. I remember the actress and her husband, and she's pointing and saying, "Until you do right by me." And so I'm translating it in modern times. U.S., please hear us until you stop killing us in the streets, until you stop killing us in the streets. That's enough. Like we're animals. Until you stop doing that, everything you touch is going to go to pot. That's the law of nature. That's not my law. That's how I know it's to be. Because you cannot have your foot, figuratively or literally, on the necks of Black people. Low wages, underemployed. A friend of mine has 2 degrees, can't get a job, hasn't gone on interviews, she's been unemployed almost 8 months, something like that. So until you do right by us, reparations would be a start. Until you do right, our ancestors paved the way for this country to stand up on its feet from nothingness. The least you can do is provide some form of reparations, some form of free tuition for descendants of slaves. That would be a start. That would be a push in the right direction. And you know what? When you do that, the ancestors are looking, spiritually looking, and they're just seeing everything that has been going on since they were either killed or mutilated or beaten to death or what have you. Until that action has taken place to their satisfaction, I don't know what is going to come to this country, because they don't want to connect the dots. Until you do right by us, everything that you will touch you'll have temporary excitement, because you're thinking you got something up on us. But the ancestors are keeping score. They're keeping score. God, heavens above, they're keeping score. Because you have the ability to do the right thing, to stop killing us in the street, nationwide, wholesale. And that's what's been happening since forever, too long. They don't even want to apologize. Imagine that. And we continue to work in their industries, put a smile on our face. We take our little bit of break. We do this, by the book. There are a few exceptions. I'm not saying we all walk on water, but that's the exception and not the rule. We are fundamentally good-hearted people. We didn't come from the bowels of society. You got the cream of the crop, if you will, to build this country. You know what you had. You took advantage, and you're not trying to say I'm sorry or either have any level of reparations. See, the universe, I gotta chill right now. The universe will make the wrongs right, the wrongdoing. It cannot stay as it is, because we know the power of the universe, one may say. We know spiritual law. We know all of these things to be true. So you cannot continue to dump on people, dump on good-hearted people, dump on people day in, day out, killing innocent, now young people under 25, people under 10, and not have impunity with impunity. This is why we are saying enough is enough. And there's a scale of ma'at. The scale of ma'at will be balanced. It will be balanced. And whether it's through COVID, whether it's through the thing that happened on the 6th, the domestic terrorism, domestic terrorists, everything that is improper, the planet has a way to get rid of it, and systems, etc. So we have to pay attention to what's going on, particularly in society that we live. So if everything was on the up and up, would there be a pandemic? Would there be you name it. All the systems are just going through an upheaval. But the universal law, will be the deciding factor. Ancestors are watching. Our ancestors are looking. Our ancestors are protecting us. Our ancestors know what's going on. Even though they're hundreds, 200 years or more from this incarnation, they can spiritually see the predicament that that remains. We remain in such a, I don't want to say fearful. We remain in a cautious environment. We have to be cautious, going away, where we go, what we do, blah, blah, blah. Especially in the police departments across the country. This is why we're asking for reparations, and rightfully so. And we should definitely, definitely ask for or demand free 2-year, 4-year college. That's minimum. That's muy poco. That's very small. That's very small compensation. That may not be sense of compensation, but that's in the right direction. So the ancestors may put their foot, take it off the gas. Right now, they got their spiritual foot on the gas. And a lot of things are just going away. What we know, going out to restaurants. We brought some luncheon yesterday, and I think there was some people in the restaurant. I didn't go, but excuse me, pardon me. Let me take a drink on that. Nothing like good old-fashioned water. We bought some luncheon, but it's not to say I guess we could have eaten in or brought it home or just chose to bring it home. But all of those industries, restaurants, you name it, if people have survived this COVID time, it's a miracle. I went to LA Fitness, and that was like maybe, I got there at maybe 11:30, somewhere in there. And granted, it was like midday, but there was a handful of people. They had one class, like a 60 plus class. They were doing a little bit of leg lifts, and it was really good to watch those seniors doing their thing. And so, wow, the society like we have known it. We knew of this society. It's like back in, I remember 2001, 2020, Sister Friend had a rollout of a project that she had worked on all summer. And this was at the beginning of 2020. And we didn't have any social distancing. We didn't know anything about that. We didn't even know COVID was on the way. And yet we were gathered, hugging, this and that and the other, things that we took for granted back then. But the society that we know, it's going to come back, I feel. But what is going to look like? Is it going to look fundamentally different than what we've known it to see and to feel and to touch family members and hug and this and that and the other? It's just a different environment. You know, a lot of people are paranoid, they're afraid. I mean, I suit up with my supplements. I eat pretty clean 95% of the time. Yeah, I'll give you myself 5% of a little snacks and stuff like that. I had some popcorn yesterday. But organic, non-GMO. You know, I try to get the cleanest stuff I can. But what we know to be true from 19 fill in the blank and early 2000 fill in the blank, that's kind of gone away. Some of these businesses may not ever open again. You know, it's tragic. But what I'm saying to you is it's profound because our ancestors are speaking loudly to this country and saying, until you do right by my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, my great 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 grandchildren, everything you touch will go to hell. We know that to be true. We're living it. We're living it. We don't have to stretch the imagination too far because this is what's going on right here, right now. This is what's going on. And so once there is a reconciliation of sisters and brothers, police departments, civilians, etc., until there is no more Black killing by police unjustifiably. What happened to put folks in handcuffs and take them down to the precinct to process them to see if they committed a crime? What happened to that? What happened to that? That young man was the officer was holding the T-shirt as he plowed bullets in his back. Who does that? Who does that? That's why I'm calling on psychological evaluation of all police department, even seasoned veterans getting ready to retire. Check them, check them, check them. We're trying to give enough time to go in the right direction. We might not get there until maybe another year, but it's going in the right direction. But this country is like, what's going on? We didn't do anything. As you know, more Black bodies are in the street. This is what we don't want to see any more of. The new administration, enough is enough. So until you do right by us, whether it's reparations, free 2-4-year college tuition, any and all schools, this is the very minimum. This isn't for the GMP. This is not a lot of money. And even if it is, our ancestors paid dearly. They paid dearly in blood, sweat, and tears. murders and beatings and being sodomized and rape and disfigured, dismembered. They paved the way. Their actions were beyond measure, and they were still beaten and killed and maimed and fill in the blank. So this is why these actions that they felt wasn't going to catch up, caught up. Caught up. It definitely caught up in this country. The COVID, the this, the that. It's everyone is like scratching their head, like, where's this coming from? Blah blah blah. It's here. It's here. And until you do right by us, our ancestors are watching. Our ancestors are watching. And they're waiting patiently, ever so patiently waiting. Excuse me. And so I'm just going to close out the week with that until you do right by us, no more killing. Police officers are killing Black people wholesale. Stop that. Our ancestors are watching. Our ancestors are watching. It would behoove you to correct this behavior. To correct this behavior. It would behoove you to correct this behavior. And psychological evaluation on all police officers to see if they're fit to carry a weapon that can destroy and has destroyed a lot of our people. A lot of our people. Disproportionately. We're like 13% of the population in this country. I didn't get the stats, but it's more times than not. We need to make it right. They need to make it right. Reparations, number one. Number two, free college tuition. Number three, back to reparations. Number four, stop killing us wholesale. Just take us in. If we haven't done anything, let the law, that's what we have, laws, and laws have been broken or they haven't been broken, but let you do your part and let them go down, take them downtown and let them be processed and have their day in court. What happened to that? As the best society on planet Earth, we don't do anything better than that. We have to treat people as if they are animals. We didn't treat people on the 6th, the domestic terrorists, like animals. So why would we do that to African melanated people? It makes you wonder. Is there prejudice here? Huh? So, in conclusion, I want you to think about that. want you to think about that. So, write, call, email me, and I look forward to reading your comments. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. You should have the number 602-775-9665. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Like, share, subscribe, follow. The Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360, the Melanin Report 360. This is Deanne coming at you, and I'm just going to say goodnight. But, think about these things and let them be fruit to your soul. Thank you for listening. Peace.